Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Universal Chronicles. Thank you for stopping by. And you're probably wondering why I have the camera facing this way because I wanted to show you guys all the feathers that I found. And as you can see, they are different colors, different sizes. Some are shaped a little different. There's a few that is damaged and some that are not, right? Okay, so yesterday on July 13th, excuse me, on July 13th, I began to find these feathers. Now, I walked the same route pretty much every day for the past 3 years, right? Um, and every now and then I would come across a feather, and sometimes, they would be a big feather, sometimes they would be a small feather, but I've never walked the path that I walk and found a trail of feathers. So on yesterday, I noticed it was a trail of feathers. Like every few feet that I walked, there was a feather. And so I found a total of 15 feathers yesterday. I found 12 on my walk. And then when I went to do laundry, I found two more as I was going up to the Kroger, and then one flew across my foot when I was walking in Walmart, which was in a whole different location. So by the end of the day yesterday, I had a total of 15. So today, when I went on my walk, I wasn't looking for feathers. I was just kind of walking and talking to the Holy Spirit, and I looked over to my left and seen a feather. And so, of course, once I see one, you know, I start looking out. And sure enough, as I walked, I began to see feathers throughout my walk. And so I was wondering, I'm like, are y'all trying to tell me something, God? Is you trying to tell me something? What is it with all of these feathers that I keep finding? Because I've walked this path to the same park from my house, and I take the same way just about every day for about 3 years now, going on 4, and I've never found this many feathers in a day or even in 2 days, right? The amount of feathers I have right here will equal the amount of feathers that I have found over the past 2 or 3 years at different times. So I was asking the question, um, why am I finding so many feathers, and what does it mean exactly? Like, what are you trying to tell me? I know it's a message in here, right? And so as I began to walk and as I began to look at the tips of the feathers, right, um, I start to think about detachment, right? These birds, they're not really losing feathers per se, but um, they're being replaced, right? So look at the tip of that. It came right out of the skin. It would appear as somebody just took the feather and plucked it right off the bird or something, but uh, what happens is birds go through what is called a molt, where they um, shed feathers to replace. Um, they shed feathers to make room and replace with new feathers. And of course, they can't do that all at once, so they wouldn't be able to fly. That's the information I gathered when I got back home after thinking about it. But as I was walking, I was looking at the different shapes of the feathers, right? Like this one. If you look at this feather, this was one that was unique. I hadn't found one really that looked like this, but if you will notice how the feather, let me set it down because I got to hold the phone. Notice how the feather is shaped, right? This feather is not, sorry, is not a mature feather, right? As you can see, this side hadn't even really come out yet, so it's not a mature feather. And what I gather from is if the bird that shed this feather was finna get a more mature feather, a bigger feather, a stronger feather. The same for this one. Um, and this one you can tell it been through some stuff because it's a little damaged, and it's probably part of the damage is probably from me keeping it in my pocket because I was trying to hold on to them. I'm gonna do something creative with them after this, but I felt, that this was a message that I needed to share with everyone. So again, I was asking what was the message? Why was I finding so many feathers? And of course, I thought about detachment. These feathers are being detached from the bird, or separation is a form of separation, right? Um, but this is happening so that the birds can get new, stronger feathers, more mature feathers. So if you look, all these feathers are not of the same age. Even on the bird's body itself, the feathers are not the same age, right? Because they may lose one feather and get a new one. Um, and so that could be a new feather, but it's a stronger, more mature feather. So I thought about that, and it got me to thinking about life. In life, you know, we go through things. We go through these moments of detachment. We go through these seasons of detachment where we feel like we're losing something that we thought that we really needed and was valuable to us. Um, and as humans, we get in our feelings, we get in our emotions, and we feel some type of way when we feel like we're losing something. But these birds, I don't believe that they felt any type of way. They just know this is a part of their life. This is a part of their growth process. So they don't think of it as losing. It's just a part of life. And of course, their new feathers are going to come in. So the message that I got was we should not, number one, spiritually, everyone is going through some type of detachment or separation from something or someone that they felt that they couldn't depart from, right? Everybody's going through that. If you listen to somebody talk, if you look throughout different types of videos or information, you will notice that people are going through some type of detachment, and we've all been given the opportunity to release persons, places, or things that no longer serve us. We've been given an opportunity to release it on our own. But a lot of us allow our emotions to get in the way, and once we see something um, detaching, or we feel like we're losing something, we try and overextend ourselves, or overdo it and try to keep something together that is falling apart because we think we're losing it. But I am here to tell you that if you feel that you have a relationship where you feel like you guys are growing apart, um, or one of you is detaching from the other, yes, it's hard, but you can't look at it as if you're losing something. You have to look at it as if you're replacing something or you're gaining something, just like with these feathers. the illusion is, okay, these birds are losing feathers. But in actuality, what's happening is they're making room for better, stronger feathers that are going to carry them a little further on their journey, right? These feathers are of no more use to the bird for one reason or another, whether they were damaged somehow, um, whether they had like maybe little mites or lice that maybe have been harmful to the bird, or maybe they just needed a more mature feather. Either way, they were going to get a new feather. So in life, when we feel like, we're losing something, we should take a different perception of it. We should perceive it differently, not as losing something, but as making room for something better. Like there's people in our lives that we feel we are losing, or that the relationship is changing. Even with jobs, we think, well, something isn't going right, but we're looking at it from the wrong perspective. We need to be looking at it as, okay, so I see that we're growing farther apart, which means there will be room for something new, something better, something more beneficial for me to come. During this time, during this season, we all are going through a shedding phase where we're having to detach, and really a lot of us are being forced to release or forced to detach from person, places, or things so that we can make room for something better, so we can make room for something that will be more beneficial, that will help us on this next part of our journey. We can't go into the next part of our journey. We can't go into a new cycle carrying burdens and heavy weights that no longer serve us, because it's only going to slow us down. It's only going to weigh us down. So we're having to detach and release a lot of things that are not longer serving us. And this also includes thought patterns, right? The other thing is, yesterday was the peak of the full moon, what they call the buck moon, right? And they call it the buck moon because it's around this time that the male deer, which they call bucks, sheds its old antlers and it grows new antlers. So again, there's a, a shedding, a detachment, a pruning, right? Or a molting process happening where something is being removed, separated, or detached in order for something new, something stronger, something better to grow. So, what nature has taught me today is we should not be afraid of the process of detachment from people, places, and things. We've all been there where we've seen, a friendship seem to not be the way it was. It seemed to be falling apart, or we not having the same things in common, or not being on the same level anymore, and we want to do all we can to try and keep it together, when clearly and naturally God is showing us it's time to break away. It's time to make room for something better, someone new, a new type of friendship, a more valuable friendship. And what I mean by valuable is a new friend or a new person that could pour something in you that you are lacking, that you're going to need for the next part of your journey, right? The other thing, like I was saying, yesterday is when I started really finding all these feathers, and it was the peak of the full moon yesterday, which the full moon is in Capricorn, which they call the buck moon. And again, they call it the buck moon because this is the time where the male deer sheds or loses its old antlers, and it grows stronger, bigger antlers, right? The other thing is, when you hear the word buck, right? When I hear the word buck, I think about, excuse me, I think about a deer, a donkey, a horse, a bull. When they buck, when you say a horse bucks or a donkey bucks, they take those two hind legs and they kick them back, right? And they kick you. So take for instance, you walking up to a bull and you have ill intentions toward this bull. You finna do something mischievous. So the bull will appear to be unbothered, like it don't really know what's going on or what you about to do. But animals can sense when someone is out to try and harm them. They can sense danger, right? So you walk up on this bull and it'll let you get close enough, but soon as you get close enough, it'll buck and it'll kick you right out of its vicinity, out of its personal space, and you gonna feel that impact when it kick you. You gonna feel the impact when you hit the ground or whatever you hit, and when you get up, you gonna feel that impact. So right now, what's happening is, like I said, we all going through a detachment state phase, and it's under this buck moon, but a lot of us are being forced to detach. And when I think about animal bucking, they're forcing you out of their space. They finna kick the wind out of you, right? And you gonna feel it, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt for a little while, but I bet you won't walk back up on that animal. You won't walk back up on that bull. So there's people, there's things, there's thought patterns that are no good to us anymore. And we cannot go into the next phase of our life, in this next season, in the next part of our journey, with those same belief system, thought patterns, or people slash energies that we've been had, because they no longer serve us. So there are going to be things that are happening, and this full moon is revealing things that will force you. It's going to make you buck, and it's going to make you push some energies away, some people away. It's going to make you push some thought patterns away. We at a sink or swim right now. You're going to sink or you're going to swim. And when you think about sinking, it's like, things are too heavy, or there's a hole somewhere and it's got to be repaired. If there's a hole, the hole needs to be repaired. Or if it's too much weight, you got to throw some things off, throw some things to the side to lighten the weight. So during this time, we need to lighten the weight energetically and physically. That means we got to get rid of old emotions that are weighing us down. We need to get rid of anger. We need to get rid of resentment. We need to get rid of jealousy. We need to get rid of procrastination. We need to get rid of doubt. There's things that we need to get rid of, because we can't take those things with us on this next part of our journey. Because if we attempt to, we're going to get stuck. We're going to be stagnant. We're not going to be able to move forward and flow like we need to, and in order to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish. So we can't think of losing people, places, or things as if it's a loss. We got to look at it as if, there's being room made for something new, something better, something that is going to benefit me on the next part of this journey. If you think about it, when you in your house, if you have your living room, let's say your living room is 375 square feet, you'll get a sofa and a love seat, maybe a coffee table or something to put in there, where you can have a nice feng shui and room to move around, right? But what if you just keep buying sofas? You keep buying sofas, trying to put it in that living room. You're cluttering up the living room. You're running out of space. Even when they speak of spring cleaning, they tell you to get rid of the things that you don't use anymore. Get rid of the clutter. That way you can make room for new things. You can make room for better things. And that is what's happening spiritually now. That's what's happening energetically now. not only in nature, but with us, because we are a part of nature. But uh, that's what's happening. That's the message I got. Each one of these feathers represents a detachment from someone, person, place, or thing for somebody, not just me, but for all of us. We're all experiencing some kind of detachment on some level, something that we need to release, an idea, a thought pattern, something that we need to release that has held us back from moving forward. This is what nature has taught me today by allowing me to find, or these feathers finding me, is we can't be afraid to detach and let people go. When we see that something is naturally happening, when there's a detachment or separation naturally happening, instead of us fighting against it, we need to allow it to happen so that we can make room for that which we need in this next part of our journey. So my message is to you from the Holy Spirit is to not be afraid to allow detachment to happen of relationships, of jobs, of things, because society always teaches us that it's the amount of money that you have that determines your value and your success and things like that. No, it's time to release old thought patterns. It's time to release um, ideas that don't serve us. Release people that don't serve us. People who are not uplifting. People who are not encouraging. People who are not looking to grow and excel. Or people who are just not the right type of people for the journey that you're on. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people. They're just not the right people, and they're not the right people and don't have what you need to carry you, to help you in this next journey. So there's nothing wrong with releasing people or detaching, and you don't have to take it personal when someone says, we can't be friends anymore, or just to disregard the relationship or the friendship or even a job. There's nothing wrong with putting in your 2-week notice when you realize, okay, this job is not serving me. I'm not going anywhere here. I'm just kind of stuck at a dead end. It's okay. It's okay to let things go. It's a part of the growing process. It's a part of the pruning process. It's a part of the molting process. And this is what nature has taught me today, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Do not be afraid to release people, to release places, to release ideas and beliefs that are not serving you. Because if you choose to hold on to those things, knowing that they don't serve you, knowing that you're not growing, knowing that you're not healing, then you're choosing and accepting to be stuck and to be stagnant. And that is truly not God's will for us to be stuck or stagnant. His will is for us to continue to grow, to heal, to evolve, and to discover the power that He has placed within us. All these different feathers, I bet you there's a story for each one of these feathers, right? There's a story for each one of these feathers. And they probably didn't come all from the same type of bird, I'm sure, right? Nevertheless, we got to be like the birds and accept the process of detachment and realize that it is necessary for our growth. It is necessary so that something new, something stronger, something better can come in, right? Something more knowledgeable, something that can give you more wisdom, right? Let me tell you something. You think about a baby, when they cutting teeth, when they first cutting teeth, right? And it break through their gums, right? It hurt, man, don't it? We don't remember when we was babies and cutting teeth, but we know how it feel to have a tooth pulled out, right? When it's loose and you used to jiggle it with your tongue or whatever. But when they first cut teeth, when they're around 6, 7, 8 months, right? They cry a lot. They fussy, They got inflammation in their gums. They want to chew on everything, right? And it's not fun for the parent neither, because they having to comfort the baby, and the baby crying, and they know the baby uncomfortable. So that first time that babies cut teeth is uncomfortable, and then it's a little uncomfortable when the baby teeth come out, right? But the baby teeth have to come out in order for the adult teeth to come in. So when the teeth get loose, right, uh, that's an indication that it's time for something new to come forth, to rise up, when we speak in the teeth, or to come out. So when a child's tooth gets loose, it's an indication that their adult teeth is ready to come in. So that tooth has to come out so the adult teeth or tooth can come in. Same thing with relationships and careers and things like that. When things become loose, when things seem like they're falling apart, it's an indication that it's time for something new. And what happens if that tooth don't come out on its own? Sometimes they don't get loose for whatever reason. You just go to the dentist, and the dentist say, well, there's a tooth sitting right up under this tooth, but for whatever reason this tooth didn't get loose. It didn't eject. It didn't, you know, release the way it was supposed to. So guess what? They gotta pull it out. They gotta yank it out with the little things so that the other tooth can come on forward. Because sometimes you take a child to the dentist because they've been complaining about their tooth hurting, but it's not loose, only to find out that there's a tooth. The adult tooth is right up under there, and that adult tooth is big enough to cover the space of two baby teeth. So they got to go and pull those teeth out so that tooth can come through, and also to relieve the pain. So I just want to share that with y'all. Don't be afraid of detaching from people, persons, and people, places, and things. Yes, it hurts, and our emotions can get involved, and we think of, the good times or whatever, but you have to look at it from a different perspective, and you cannot allow your emotions to consume you. And another thing, when you think about a male, because I spoke of the male deer, which they call a buck, which sheds its old antlers and gets new ones. When you think about the male or the masculine energy, it's all about logic. So during this time, we can't allow our emotions to take over and consume us. We have to utilize logic with our intuition, and not allow our emotions to get the best of us, because sometimes our emotions will cause us to make a decision that is not for our highest good. We think, oh, because we love that person, we known that person all of our life, that we supposed to be together all of our lives, or they're supposed to be in our life throughout our whole journey, when that is not the case, because that person may be taking up space and does not have what you need to go on this next part of your journey. Therefore, they have to be detached. They have to be released. They have to be removed in order to bring in that energy, or that person who is going to be able to help you to gain the perspective, or to give you what you need to go on this next part of the journey. So don't be afraid to detach. Everyone during this time, everyone, not just human beings, but in nature, we all are releasing and detaching things that no longer serve us. And during this full moon, the full moon, it brings a lot of light, and it sheds light on the things that may be weighing down on us, things that we've been trying to overlook. So don't be afraid of the detachment process. Don't be afraid to release people, places, and things that no longer serve you. It's okay. Yes, it can be painful. It can be painful, but you have to look at the end result of it. And the end result is you getting something much bigger, if it's a thing, like a house. You could lose an apartment and end up getting a house. Or you could lose a friend and end up getting a better friend, someone who can really pour into you the way that you pour into them. You can lose a mate and get a better mate, someone who's more wise, someone who's more patient. You can't just look at things as a loss in a sense of, oh, woe is me, I lost this. You got to look at it as, well, now that that's out the way, even though it was painful, now there's room for something new to come in. Now there's room for me to grow. Now there's room for me to become more wise. Oh, this is an opportunity for me to learn this lesson about codependency. This is an opportunity for me to learn a lesson about myself and how I view things and how I move. This is an opportunity for me to grow. This is not just this is not just me losing something. This is an opportunity for me to discover something new about myself, to discover what this next part of the journey is going to be like. Sometimes we want to carry things with us. We don't even have room to even receive anything new coming in because we're so preoccupied and our hands are full with other things. So go ahead and release. Go on ahead and release those things that no longer serve you. Go ahead and release those things that are weighing you down heavily on your heart. Those things that you tussle with back and forth day after day because you like, should I not? Well, I feel this way, but so and so I've been knowing them for years, and they've been having my back. And I can't just turn my back on them now, but you don't even know energetically this person will eventually turn their back on you. And that is why the detachment part is taking place, because they can't go with you on this next part of the journey. They simply cannot go. And it's nothing personal. And you as a person should not take it personal if someone, keeps going and you're not a part of their journey. You shouldn't take it personal because there's something that they need, and it would be selfish of you to try and still take up space in their life during that time and not allow something new to come in for them, because where we're putting energy into one spot is taking away energy from another spot. Where we're putting energy into one project, we're taking energy away from putting into something else. Just like anything that we do, even down to the fact that these birds are the molt process of them shedding feathers, that takes energy to shed these feathers. It takes energy for the new feathers to come in. It takes energy for us to release people, places, and things, and it takes energy for new people, places, and things to come in. Even with plants, with the pruning process, sometimes you see, the little stems split down the middle, or you have to prune them yourself and cut off the little dead parts of the plant so it doesn't affect the whole plant. We all go through a process. We can't be afraid. We can't take it personal if we're not a part of a person's next part of their journey. We can't take it personal. Some people get a rite of passage and they're going to take a different road from us. And we, they may not be able to come on a road with us, or we may not be able to go on a road with them, but our familiarity and how long we known each other and our comfortability will it will cause us to want to try and hold on to something that has to be separated, that has to be detached in order for growth to happen. So don't be afraid to grow. Don't be afraid to detach. Don't be afraid to change. And when I say change, I mean good change. Everybody won't view your change as being good. Everybody won't view it as being good because, they may not be a part of that change. They may not be able to take the next part of the journey with you. And so they don't view it as being a good thing. But that is not your problem. You are only to do and go where God is guiding you, and release those things that the Holy Spirit is showing you that is no longer serving you, that is causing you to be in turmoil and in doubt about the direction that you're headed in. We all, like these feathers, we all are at different stages in our walk, in our journey. And we all have different shoes. We all have different stories. Similar, similar basis of the stories. We all have different lessons, right? No one person's story is completely the same. Therefore, no one person's journey, no one person's lesson is going to be completely the same. So I just want to share this with you all. I gave gratitude for the Holy Spirit, for my spiritual team, for Mother Gaia, Nature, for sharing this message with me. And I wanted to come and share with you all. And on this particular video, yes, I am asking that you do like and share the video. If you would like to comment, you can do so. If you would like to if you would like to subscribe, you may do so. But I do ask if you could like the video and share the video with someone that you feel may be struggling with the detachment process, because it's happening globally, it's happening universally. We are all going through a detachment process from, that means, we are all being forced out of our comfort zone. We are all being forced to release and detach from things that are no longer serving us. Right? So you guys enjoy your day. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with these feathers. I'm thinking about making some dream catchers or something like that with them. But I'm going to figure it out. But I did want to make sure I get this message out to you all. Again, like and share, please, because we got to stop being afraid to detach from people, places, and things. We have to look at it as making room for something new, something stronger, something better, something wiser. So I hope this message is going to help you all. I know for sure that it has helped me. You all have a great day. Bye.